Oh man, I hate to say it, guys, but SoFi's down 14% right now, trading at $15.80 after the company reported earnings this morning. And well, we have to break it down. We're going to go over the numbers, the charts, what I'm doing, as again, SoFi is completely tanking and the bulls are nowhere to be found right now. We were at 19 bucks in the pre-market, and again, now we're under 16 bucks a share and we're completely falling here on the 4-hour time frame. This is a falling knife and we're back under both moving averages, and it wasn't like SoFi's numbers were bad. They came in line on adjusted EPS at 12 cents, and on revenue they reported 1.07 or 1.08 billion dollars rather versus the 1.05 billion expected. And for guidance here for Q2, they're expecting revenue to be 1.11 billion versus the 1.13 billion dollars. So guidance came in a little soft there for Q2 revenue. Maybe one of the reasons why the stock is falling, and they expect full year 26 adjusted EPS to be about 60 cents, right in line with the expectation, and revenue is also right in line at $4.65 billion. So maybe the fact that, okay, revenue for Q2 is a bit soft compared to the estimates, and for full year revenue and EPS, we're right in line. That is not, a blow out of the park or a grand slam earnings report, right? Inline EPS, guidance is a bit soft. We're not really above the estimates here, which is not the end of the world, but that is what the stock wanted to see, part of what it wanted to see to go higher here, and we didn't get it, guys. And at this point, look, when I saw Robinhood yesterday, on a side note, we saw Robinhood report earnings and the stock tanked. I was like, that can't be good for SoFi, right? Obviously, they're not the same business 100%, but they're both fintech stocks. And again, Robinhood, let's see here, it traded at about, or it closed yesterday at 82, and I saw it tank down to 76. I was like, this might be some foreshadowing for SoFi, and it looks like I was right. And we talked about how overall SoFi typically sells off after earnings, and it looks like history is repeating itself here. So let's dive deeper into the report, guys. I don't want to waste too much time here on the charts, on these, headline numbers. Let's dive a little bit deeper here, as there's a lot to go over, right? A lot to go over. So these are some of the highlights right away, right off the bat. We can see here adjusted net revenue came up 41% year over year to a record $1.1 billion, as adjusted EBITDA was up 62% to a record $340 million, as total loan originations were at a record as well, $12.2 billion. So all these are record numbers. Member growth up 35% to a record 14.7 million members. Product growth up 39% to a record 22.2 million products. So when you see the stock tanking like this, it might, bring up a lot of emotions. You're like, oh crap, the stock sucks, the company sucks, but focus on the fundamentals. These are all record numbers. Adjusted net revenue, adjusted EBITDA, total loan originations, right? Member growth, product growth, all record numbers, right? And we can see Anthony Noto, the CEO of SoFi, which I expect him to be buying more stock right now. I don't know about you guys, but he said we had an excellent Q1, delivering another quarter of durable growth and strong returns, fueled by our relentless focus on innovation and brand building. Members grew 35% and products increased 39%, with 43% of new products coming from existing customers, right? That's key, as more people choose SoFi as their trusted partner for major financial decisions and all the days in between. Noto also said our strategic entry into new areas like digital assets, alongside the strong growth in our existing businesses, are strengthening and diversifying our platform. That allows us to keep investing in better products and experiences for our members and clients, empowering our compounding growth and strong returns over the long term. And here we can see their consolidated results summary. We have total revenue, net income attributable to stockholders, common stockholders. So obviously we're not going to dive into all the numbers. I mean, if you guys saw how long this report is, it is unbelievable. So we can't really dive into everything here, but we can, again, go over the highlights and see exactly how good the quarter was. The quarter, again, it wasn't a grand slam by any means, especially the guidance, but they're still doing well. The fundamentals are still improving, at least based on what I'm seeing here. As again, we're seeing consistent growth with record new members and products, accelerating revenue growth and increasing profitability over the long term, and the advancing of their digital asset infrastructure. We can see SoFi began minting SoFi USD in the first quarter, its US dollar reserved stablecoin, as well as developing settlement capabilities and supporting interoperability between digital assets and fiat currencies through partners like MasterCard, which we covered before, which will enable SoFi USD settlement across global payments networks. And it might not be as significant right now on their stable coin, what they're doing with MasterCard, SoFi USD, but this is a longer term play because clearly digital assets, stable coins, you name it, this is only a growing industry, and SoFi is getting into it, which I think is smart, right? And we can see accelerating innovation across the business, which we kind of touched upon that with stable coins here. Continuous product innovation helped drive strong results, including record brokerage fee revenue, which more than doubled over the last year. And in April, SoFi relaunched SoFi Plus with enhanced benefits, including a 4.5% APY on deposits up to $20,000 and a 1% match on SoFi Invest and crypto purchases, which 4.5% APY, guys, that is really good. And we can see record loan originations, right? Total loan originations reached a record of $12.2 billion, up nearly $1.7 billion from last quarter, with record performance across all three segments. Personal loan originations reached a record $8.3 billion. Student loan originations, $2.6 billion, also a record, up 2.2 times year over year, and home loan originations were $1.2 billion, up nearly 2.4% year over year, which we were talking about home loan originations, like a year ago, saying that's going to be a big driver here, and they've gone up 2.4x, and again, student loans 2.2x, and loan platform business originations were up 90% year over year. And this quarter, an additional $3.6 billion of commitments were added with 3 new partners, right? And we can see strengthening brand awareness and trust, yada, yada, yada. Let's come down here a little bit more. Their consolidated results. SoFi reported a number of record financial achievements for the first quarter 2026, record GAAP net revenue of $1.1 billion relative to last year's $771 million, so that's really good. Record adjusted net revenue grew 41%. Let's come down here a little bit more. Let's talk about the member and product growth, guys, and let me show you these charts so you can get a better visual here. SoFi added a record 1,055,000 members in the first quarter of 26, bringing total members to 14.7 million, up 35% from 10.9 million at the end of the same quarter in the last year. And SoFi also achieved record product additions of 1.8 million in the first quarter of 26, bringing total products to nearly 22.2 million, up 39% from 15.9 million at the end of the same period last year. And this shows you the growth of members in thousands, products in thousands, and it's up and to the right. We're not seeing a dip in any of these quarters. Each quarter sequentially it's going up, right? You're seeing that in members, you're seeing that in products, you're seeing that in products by segment. Maybe not so much in technology platform accounts, but the other categories more than make up for that. You can see it. We can see their lending products up and to the right. We can see financial services products up and to the right. If I zoom in here, products by segment, you can see a little bit more of what I'm talking about, right? This is good news for the company. And the fact that we're seeing this disconnect in the stock, right? It's going down 15%, probably on, soft EPS, soft guidance, not too soft though. But the fact that we're seeing this disconnect is opening up an opportunity, right? Which is why I told you guys I'm not buying SoFi before the print. I'm waiting till after earnings because I've been around the block, as we all have with this stock. We kind of have an idea that 3 out of 4 times, during earnings, it's probably going to go down after earnings. And it's not usually, it doesn't see a sustained downtrend after earnings. A lot of the time it goes down a little bit, it consolidates, then it rebounds. So that, with that, I'm looking to add here, right? Before it starts to rebound, because I think it will. I think it will in due time. Maybe not today, tomorrow, maybe not this week or next week, but I think it will be back towards $20 and $25, quite frankly. I'm sticking to that, right? And we can see that the different segment results here. We can see financial services segment for the first quarter of 26. Financial services, the segment net revenue came in at $428 million, and it increased 41% from the prior year period. And non-interest income came in at $200 million. That came up 55% year over year, as net interest income came in at, $227 million. That increased 31% year over year, primarily driven by growth in consumer deposits. So let's come down here a little bit more. Let's see what else we got. Again, this report is super long. It's not too technical, but there are a lot of numbers, which we're not going to dive into all these numbers right now. I do want to see the loan originations. Let's see if I can find that. Here, lending products, we can see personal loans, the year-over-year change. Student loans, 15% year-over-year change in lending products. 39% personal loans, 52% change in home loans, and total lending products grew 33% year over year. And let's talk a little bit about the guidance here before we continue. Looks like here in the second quarter of 26, management expects to deliver adjusted net revenue growth of approximately 30% and an adjusted EBITDA margin of approximately 30% as well, and adjusted net income margin of approximately 12 to 13%. And for the full year, management maintains its strong outlook. For 26, management expects to increase total members by at least 30% year over year, which is great. And management also expects to deliver adjusted net revenue of approximately $4.65 billion, which we talked about already, which implies approximately 30% annual revenue growth. Management expects adjusted EBITDA of around $1.6 billion, which equates to an annual EBITDA margin of around 34%. Not too bad, guys, not too bad. So let's see if we come down a little bit more. Now we're getting into all these numbers, the nitty gritty. I want to see if I can find the loan originations. Let's see here. Either way, man, not too bad of a quarter. Not a blowout quarter, like I said. We can see here their balance sheet. We can see cash and cash equivalents are down from, the last quarter. We can see they had almost $5 billion in cash and cash equivalents to end off 2025, and now we're down to $3.4 billion. So that is something worth monitoring there. If we continue on here, let's see. This stuff's, very in depth. These are unaudited segment financials. We can see lending, technology platform, financial services, yada, yada, yada. So, this is what I want to look at. Let's see here. The analysis of charge-offs, personal loans, average loans, 22 This is in thousands, $1 billion personal loans, $14 billion student loans, okay, 1.4 in home loans, security loans, credit card. Okay, yeah, now we're going to get, I don't want to lose the viewers here, guys. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I mean, again, we can go all day here, 27 pages. We could go through each one, but I mean, we're already 15 minutes in. So SoFi doing what SoFi does, which is not going to, deter me from buying more, because I know how this works. I know how SoFi moves, and I'm not surprised that we're seeing this drop. How many times have I said over the last couple of videos, SoFi historically does this, and here we are. Here we are. History is repeating itself, and at this point, yeah, I mean, it is starting to get back well under these moving averages again on the 4-hour time frame, which isn't ideal technically speaking, right? We have a falling knife. We again are under these moving averages, taking out the lows, by the way, from the middle of this month, about $16. That is not ideal, but this is a stock that has done this before. We're super oversold. The numbers were pretty good, right? Not a grand slam like I've said before throughout this video, but I think we're going to rebound. I just don't see a scenario where this goes much under where we are now, 14, 15 bucks a share. Could it bleed out to $12? I mean, it could, but I just don't see it happening. We're already super oversold. I think Noto's going to step in, buy a bunch of shares. The management's going to come in, buy shares, and that's where I'm at. I'm looking to buy more, though. I'm looking to buy more here in the 15s, 14s if it gets there. And back to Robinhood, guys, on a side note here, similar, industry, right? This is one that's tanking as well, 14%, and I added a little bit today. An initial position as I've been waiting patiently to buy Robinhood, and I was kind of kicking myself when it ran to 90, 92. I was like, oh man, this thing's starting to get away from me again. I didn't buy here, so now that we're tanking after earnings, I'm taking advantage, because I think Robinhood is going to be $100 plus stock, no problem. Especially when Bitcoin turns around, man. When Bitcoin really starts to get to 85, 90, 100K again, which I think it will, I think Robinhood's going to tear it up, right? Their trading volumes are down from Q4, on a side note here, and I think that's going to change here pretty soon. Maybe not next month or the next quarter, but in the back half of this year, I think we're going to do quite well on Robinhood. And I bought some shares at 72 bucks a share. And now I'm down a little bit. We're at 70 bucks, $70.25. And I'm willing to add more here, in the mid 60s if it gets there. And I'm going to let it ride, guys. I'm going to let it ride. Similar to SoFi, similar mentality here. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe and join the Patreon if you guys want to see what I'm doing in real time, stocks I'm buying, trading, how I'm, selling options to create income, and you get more access to me in the Discord, right? There's a private Discord. We're active in there, so check it out. Link down below, pinned in the comments as well, or go to stocksurfs.com/Patreon. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I'll see you all in the next video.